Okay, so if you are not caught up on Outlander Season 8, then stop right now because this video is full of spoilers and I am not holding back. And this is the final season, the last ride, and honestly it feels like the show is saving its best moments for the very end because Episode 8 just aired and it left me completely speechless. And now, with Episode 9 coming, I have two major theories that I truly believe are about to change everything. So let us get into it, and let us start with Fanny because her storyline just took the most unexpected turn, and in Episode 8 Fanny was having one of her quiet emotional moments thinking about Jane like she always does, and then she found something, a green gemstone, just sitting there looking beautiful, and at first she was drawn to it, because anyone would be, but then the stone cut her hand, and she dropped it immediately, and the second it cracked, she heard a buzzing sound, not a normal sound, but an unbearable and overwhelming buzz that clearly shook her to the core. And now I know what you were thinking because that sounds familiar, right? And it is because that buzzing sound is connected to the stones, the same stones that make time travel possible in this entire world. And that moment was not random at all because the writers put that in there for a reason. And I think we all know what it means because Fanny is Claire's granddaughter, and we confirmed that a while back, and deep down most of us always suspected that she might be a traveler too because it just made too much sense. But I personally was not expecting this storyline to hit right now because I was so focused on the battle coming up and all the adult drama that Fanny's arc completely caught me off guard. So what happens next? Because in Episode 9 I believe Fanny is going to try and find the source of that buzzing, and she will not be able to ignore it because that kind of sound gets into your head and it pulls you towards something. And the real question is whether she is brave enough to go through it alone or whether she tells someone first. And honestly, the smartest move would be for her to go to Claire, because Claire knows everything, and she would understand immediately. And if Claire finds out, then Bree and Roger will find out too, and then the adults are going to have to sit Fanny down and tell her the truth about who she really is and what she is capable of. But here is where it gets emotional, because if Fanny learns the truth, then she will also realize she has a chance to go back to find her parents, to find Jane, and there is no way she just sits still after hearing that, because she would want to go and she would need to go, and that is exactly why I think Fanny might actually leave the show in Episode 9, because the stones could take her anywhere, anytime, and she is still so young, and she does not fully understand the danger, and she does not know what is waiting on the other side, and that uncertainty is what scares me the most right now because her fate feels wide open and it could go in any direction, and whatever happens it is going to hit hard. And now moving on to my second theory, which is all about William and Jamie and Lord John. And in Episode 8, William showed up at the Fraser home, saying he needed to talk to Bree, because he said she was the only one in his family who had not betrayed him, and I get it, because their dynamic just works, and Bree has this way of calming William down and making him feel safe without even trying. But the most powerful moment of that visit was when William confronted Jamie directly about leaving him as a child, and that scene was heavy because you could feel the weight of all those years of pain coming out in that one conversation, and something changed in William after that moment, because he finally understood that Jamie did not abandon him out of selfishness, and he realized it was complicated, and he realized Jamie loved him and still does. And he is slowly starting to see that Lord John also cares deeply about him, even if that relationship still has some healing to do. But then at the very end of Episode 8, everything shifted again, because Captain Richardson kidnapped Lord John and Percy helped him do it, and that single moment changes the entire setup going into Episode 9, because now William and Jamie have a reason to stand together, and they have to go save Lord John. And even though both of them have been acting like they are done with him, like they have moved on, the truth is they have not, because they still love him and they will risk everything to get him back. And I think this rescue mission is exactly what William and Jamie need, because chasing something dangerous together and depending on each other builds a bond that nothing else can. And when they finally find Lord John, the first thing, that is the moment where real healing begins, and maybe they finally say what they have been holding back, and maybe they forgive him, and maybe the three of them get the emotional closure that this storyline has been building toward for so long, and I would love to see that. But I also have a little fear sitting in the back of my mind, because this season has already made some changes from the books, and that makes me nervous. And what if Lord John does not make it out of this? And what if the show takes a darker path? And I really hope they stick to the books for this one, because Lord John deserves to be alive at the end of this, and we all know that. So those are my two big theories for Episode 9, with Fanny and the stones and William and Jamie and Lord John both heading towards something massive, and I cannot wait to see how it all unfolds. And if you are as obsessed with Outlander as I am, then make sure you subscribe so you never miss a breakdown, because this final season is moving fast, and we need to talk about every single moment together.